Okay, this is going to be page 35 in your math journal. So make sure that you put 35 in the page. Okay, we're going to title this one Fraction Products. Okay, if we're talking about products, that means today we're going to be talking about multiplication. Okay, we're going to be drawing some pictures to represent a couple of these so you can actually see what we are doing. So when I have a problem like 2/3 times 3, that means I have 2/3 and I have 3 groups of 2/3. So if I'm going to draw a picture like that, let's just draw 3 rectangles to represent a whole unit. So let's make 3 that are about the same size. 2 and 3. Now there's your 3 groups, and now I need 2/3 of each one. So let's split them each into thirds. So each one of these represents one whole, and so each one of these sections would represent 1/3. So if this is 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, okay, now I want 2/3 of each one. So 2/3 here, 2/3 here, and 2/3 here. Okay, you can see that I have 3 groups of 2/3. So how many thirds do I actually have here? I actually end up with 6 thirds. Now 6 thirds, if I were to take this piece and put it right here, and this piece and put it right here, you could see that I would have 2 full units worth. Well, what's 6 divided by 3? 2. So 2/3 of 3 is 2. Now, when we are multiplying fractions, the cool part about multiplying fractions is all you have to do is multiply the top and multiply the bottom of the fractions. So, when multiplying fractions, multiply the numerators together for the top and multiply the denominators for the bottom. Okay, then simplify if necessary. So if we're looking at this example up here, the first fraction is 2/3. And I'm multiplying that by 3. Now 3 written as a fraction is a whole unit. So how many pieces does it take to make up a whole unit? Just 1. So if I want to write 3 as a fraction, I'm going to write 3 over 1. I have 3 groups and 1 piece makes up the whole unit. So if I multiply across the top, I get 6. If I multiply across the bottom, I get 3, and then I simplify if I can. How many times will 3 go into 6? 2 times. Or you could look at it as divide by 3. Divide by 3 when you simplify your fractions to get 2 over 1, which is 2. But you can actually see that from my picture up here. Okay, we're going to try a few more examples. Okay, we're going to do one more where you see a picture, and then you're going to do it also just writing it out. Okay, so let's skip a line, and I want you to write, find 3/5 of 4. Okay, what does of mean in math? It means times. So another way to write this would be 3/5 times 4. Okay, I need to have 4 groups. So let's draw 4 rectangles that are about the same size. Okay, 4 rectangles about the same size. Now, there's my 4, but now I need 3/5. So I'm going to split this into 5 pieces and shade 3 of each one. So 5 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same thing with this one and this one. Okay, remember each one of these represents one of 5 pieces. I'm not going to write it in every single one of those, but in each one I need 3 of the 5 pieces. So I'm going to shade 3 of those pieces here. 3 of those pieces here. 3 of them here. And 3 of them here. Okay, now I have 4 groups of 3/5. So how many 5th size pieces do I have? I have 3, 6, 9, 12. So I have 12 pieces. And now how many of them does it take to make a whole unit? 5. So I have 12 5th size pieces. Now if I want to make this into a mixed number, there's 2 there. That would be a whole unit, those 3 and those 2. 4 and another whole unit, and that would have 2/5 left over. Well, how many times will 5 go into 12? 2 whole times. And then that would leave me with 2 pieces left over, 2 and 2/5. All right, now let's look at that from what I taught you about up here. When multiplying fractions, multiply the numerators together for the top, and then multiply the denominators for the bottom. Simplify if you can. So down here, I'm going to redo it. So 3/5 times 4, which 4 as a fraction would be 4 over 1 because we're talking about whole units. 3 times 4 is 12, and you can see the 12 pieces in our picture. 5 times 1 is 5. Same answer. Now, regrouping. 5 goes into 12 how many times? Remember, this is a division problem. So if you want to look at it that way, you could write 12 divided by 5. 5 goes into 12 2 times. Minus 10 gives me 2. So 2 remainder 2, or 2 pieces left over. It takes 5 to make the whole unit. So 2 whole groups and 2 remaining pieces. Okay, let's just practice a couple just like that down here for practice. Okay, skip a line. I want you to do, only this time we're not going to draw pictures. So let's do 7/9 times 15. Now, if I'm going to turn that into a fraction, 15 would be 15 over 1. 7 times 15 is, good question. Let's do 15 times 7 over here. 7 times 5 is 35. Regroup 3. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 3 is 10. So I get 105 on top. So I'd have 105 pieces. Now, how many pieces does it take to make a whole unit? 9 times 1 would be 9. Okay, this is my improper fraction form, but now I want it in its simplest form as a mixed number. So I'm going to do 105 divide by 9. 9 goes into 1. It doesn't. 9 goes into 10 one time. So minus 9 gives me 1. Bring down the 5. 9 goes into 15. How many times? Once. So minus 9. That leaves me with 6. Okay, because I'm dealing with fractions here, the remainder is useful to me. 6/9 is what's left over, but 6/9 will reduce. So here I have 11 and 6/9, but 6/9 is not in its simplest form. What can go both into 6 and 9? 3. So my most simplified answer would be 11 and 2/3. All right, make sure you have all of your notes written nice and neat, and we'll check them tomorrow. Thank you.